Hello viewers, welcome to KINTU'S Lunch. In today's topic, we are going to look at the mats from Uganda. We are going to look at the mats, how they've been made throughout the centuries. Baganda women have been making mats for hundreds of years, for sleeping on, for sitting on, for decor and other purposes. That is not to say that mats are not found in different parts of Africa and other parts of the world, but in today's topic, we are looking specifically at the Baganda's mats because they are different in their patterns and in motifs. So the patterns of these mats will depend on where you're located and the times you're living in. Mat making in Uganda reflects traditional Bantu motifs that predate Swahili and Arab contact. It is likely that mat making is part of a more ancient indigenous craft tradition. The mat patterns have been indicators of different ethnicities, clans that have been passed down generations. Historically, the patterns and motifs would have symbolic meaning to the groups that make them. They would represent proverbs, myths, legends. Examples: cows in a pen, tilapia, mama is changing her mind, and Mutesa's belt. Mutesa was the Kabaka of Buganda. Mutesa there was the Kabaka during the 20th century. So with the coming of the Arabs, the pattern shifted to reflect the times at that particular time. And these included the railway tracks, because the Uganda railway was now being built. Policemen in stripes are some of the patterns that came up. The Baganda mats are weaved by bringing together dry fibers that are twisted into braids. Fibers are twisted into braids of about 6 to 8 centimeters. The braids are very firm, with each strand of fiber backed up by the others as new strands of fibers are worked in before the previous one ends. After a while, which may be a week because it's a tedious effort, you must have that labor of love for it. So it would take about a week or even more, depending on the time you dedicate to the mat making, to get a 10-meter braid long. It is then stitched together with raffia to form a cylinder shape. This is done carefully and meticulously to give that impression that the mat which is woven is in one piece. This is then cut down the length to produce a rectangular or square shape. A contrasting color of a plaited folded braid is then sewn at the edges of the rectangle, which secures it and also gives it a nice finish. Mats were used in the king's court, the Kabaka of Buganda, with each clan having its own specific design and a specific name for that design, e.g. Chachi and many more. Mats are still used in many families in Uganda as decor and also provide functions like sitting on, sleeping on, carrying luggage. The fibers that make the mat would be added to the dye in water and boiled together. The first batch of leaves dyed in the pot would have the strongest shade. It is then removed and more batches are put in As a result, different shades and lighter shades of the batch are produced, which is very important when making a multicolored shaded mat. The dye making process used to be natural long time back, but as time has gone on, the artificial dye is widely being used. The artificial dye was mainly brought in the late 19th century and 20th century by missionaries, which has been widely adopted, but it is not environmentally friendly as the natural dye used to be. For example, when using natural dye, they would use a special grass, or a special grass is used called muzukuzi, which is mixed with iron-rich mud and then together boiled in water to get the black texture color. That's one of the ways that natural dye would be used, or some of the ways they would get natural dyes to produce these dyes to make the different colored mats. In brief, that is the story of the Baganda mats. This tradition should not be let down. I think the people who know it should pass it on to the young generation so that it doesn't die down. Because these mats are beautiful. They can be used as substitute for sitting on, and they are also provide a function of sleeping on. And they are also environmentally friendly. That's the other important thing about these mats. So I would urge the experts in this area to teach the present generation so that this practice can go on. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. This is KINTU'S Lunch. Comment in the section and share. For those of you who are watching and you also have mats in your countries, how do you make them and what is their function? Please share in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Bye.